It's a hashtag feud, the tension brews, opinions clash like unstoppable views. A digital brink where patience shatters with each post and each fiery scatter just retweets, clashes and echoes of grins. They say that the pen is mightier than the sword. Well, mine's a keyboard. So go to war if that's what makes you feel alive. I'll take it personally, but won't take it offline. It's like a drug, it's poison in my mind. My thumb is the trigger, and I've got you in my sights. And if it's all part of God's plan, I'd like to have a word with him. I'm not a fan, so take me to war. I hope it makes you feel alive. I'll take it personally, but won't take it offline.
Yeah, a lot of, well, welcome to Not My Rabbit Hole. Today is March 23rd, 2026. Let's celebrate that we're still breathing right now. Wait, I was going to give like a round of applause there. And we got a few people in the chat. Disney rumors. How are you, Terry? Well, that's kind of interesting. Disney rumors. Well, thank you for showing up. I am doing really well, actually. Little tired. You know, like this is I'm kind of moving slow this morning. I've been doing a lot of writing, and I had a deadline that I had to make yesterday, and it's for my fiction writing class. We had to do our long form piece, which is between 5,000 and 7,000 words. And fortunately, I didn't have writer's block. I was in the zone. So I was in this kind of, zone to where believe it or not, I didn't even turn it to watch Sewer Town on YouTube last night. I wasn't even there live. I picked up a few things on it later, but I didn't even want to leave my train of thought in my writing until it was finished. So I don't know. Shout out to all you writers out there, or even just creative types. When you're in the zone, sometimes you don't break out of it because you know that it's flowing and you're into it. You do have to remember to eat and stuff like that. Literally, it was kind of like eat, shower, that's it. Go back and start writing. I did take some breaks. I've been watching this series on Netflix called Search Party, and it's really different. And I'm on the fourth season now, and some bigger stars that can be identified in that quirky comedy, dark comedy genre. Griffin Dunn has a part in it, and so does Susan Sarandon. Makes a appearance in the fourth season, and it's really good. It's kind of one of those dark comedies where the characters do heinous things and they have qualities that you really don't want to like about them, but at the same time, they have good qualities. And I find that element to be really interesting in a lot of storylines and scripts that, things that I watch on Netflix. It's almost like, it used to be, I felt like movies in the past, like people were more heroic and, they were more idealized, way above, normal in, like Jimmy Stewart, right? Like way above normal in integrity and family values. And now we get these combinations of people that have actually murdered other people, but somehow you're still rooting for them in their reasons for doing it or something. There's this blurred line that has happened. And I'm not saying that it's a bad thing. Totally. I mean, maybe on the positive side. Maybe if you think about it on the positive side, in real life, it's kind of like that. Your enemy, or who you perceive to your enemy, may have really admirable qualities or may have done some really positive things and done some really heinous things at the same time. Like, take, for example, Cesar Chavez. I mean, how do you process that right now? No, I saw at Fresno State that there's a picture of it's in the Collegian. There's a picture, and they have him draped like a black cloth over him. They're removing the statue. Like a few days before Cesar Chavez Boulevard here in Fresno, California, they were going to add more streets to it and everything. It's like the migrant farm. He's a symbol for the freedom of the migrant farm workers. It's very much woven in the fabric of the community that I live in. And yet now Dolores Huertas came out and said that he arred her several times, and several other women during Women's History Month. And let me just point out that I have played videos of Owen Benjamin saying that people that are, or children that have been sexually assaulted, he considers them to have on some level made an agreement for it to happen. And I know that I've been, witnessing a lot of people, they're talking now, and, they were once enemies, and, Owen Benjamin is somehow in the mix of all the drama with Hoax and Liz Moldovan and, Adam Camacho and Blazing Scar and, all of that stuff over a lawsuit, because this video, this live stream is called Tampering with the Witness. And the person that's really kind of in the center of all of this in the conversation, the one who has the most influence publicly, the one who has influence to actually make people give them $400 like Liz Moldovan did in a Bertaria concept. And by the way, I really didn't mean to throw Adam Camacho in the mix with Liz and drama and this and that, and just pass what he's going through just off as if it's nothing, because he's been caught up in this because he filmed the documentary, right? All this buzz, and then it intersects to Thomas Schoenberger, and it goes all over these places, and these channels on YouTube that are basically backing Owen, or maybe they backed Owen at one point, but they don't back him anymore, or they were against him because he owed her $400, Liz, but now he's like a hero to her, and he's a person that is okay, that minimized what happened to Dolores Huertas. How, as women, as grandmothers, as people that raise their children, how do you justify that within your own self as a woman? How do you justify that, ladies? I'm going to take a little break on that and play another song. Because, this song is really, I create songs on Suno.com. Might be fun to actually create a song that have elements of the show at the end of something. I don't know if I have time for that today, but it might be fun, right? Kind of like what Daniel Dow does on his channel sometimes. All right, this is Jane Doe. And this is also about this topic, really.
wish that I could know why you decided to show, why you didn't just go, why you still call her Jane Doe. She was 13, not yet 16, not even a tween. Friends said it would be funny if she met Epstein. He got a gig for the weekend, said she could bring a friend, said he needed someone who looked young, a blonde and a wig. And she thought it was harmless, so she went with her friend, and her friend thought it was harmless, so she went with her friend, and her friend thought it was harmless, so she went with her friend. And they said they all met a nice man, and his name was Prince Andrew, and she thought he was harmless, so she went with her friend, and her thought he was harmless, so she went with her friend. And Katie thought he was harmless, so she went with her friend. And she met a girl named Katie Johnson, and she looked just like me, and they thought it was harmless, so they went with their friend. And I thought it was harmless, so I went with my friend. And Katie thought it was harmless, so she went with her friend. And she thought it was harmless, so she went with her friend. And Katie thought it was harmless, so she went with her friend. And she thought it was harmless, so she went with her friend. And Katie thought it was harmless, so she went with her friend. And her friend's friend thought it was harmless, so she went with her friend. And she thought it was harmless, so she went with her friend. And she thought it was harmless, so she went with her friend. And Katie thought it was harmless, so she went with her friend. And her friend's friend thought it was harmless, so she went with her friend. And she thought it was harmless, so she went with her friend. And she thought it was harmless, so she went with her friend. And Katie thought it was harmless, so she went with her friend. And her friend's friend thought it was harmless, so she went with her friend. And she thought it was. All right, so welcome back to Not My Rabbit Hole. And I got a little bit excited there when I was talking about the hypocrisy of some of these women on the internet that associate themselves with the drama that's going on. I know I'm taking a long pause thinking about what I want to say, really. You know, it kind of has to do like with what this channel, what Not My Rabbit Hole is really about. You know, I'm more not as concerned about the drama or the interaction of some of these players, because like a lot of them, they don't even have like their channels are like, they're like disposable to them. I don't think that these people that are involved in a lot of this drama, they're not really interested in like building a channel. Matter of fact, it's probably better to stay under the radar, because they're just that kind of chaotic drama buzz. Doesn't matter if it's truthful or not. It's just like a pointing of the finger, a flipping of the narrative that takes place on some of these lower level YouTube channels. I mean, I don't need to point out what they are, who channels do this, or I mean, you know, I've heard Daniel Dowd say he's not interested in building a channel. He's basically wants to stay small and fight like what he's fighting. So how much power, how much influence does a channel really have that doesn't really have that many numbers to it? And, you know, there's some channels that you look at that, you know, they've paid for their, it looks like they have a lot of people, looks like they have a lot of subscribers, but they really don't. They work on appearing bigger than they are when they're really not that big. And there's a lot of people that have done that. I could point fingers to different people too, not just one.
I mean, there's one person that we talk about notoriously as being guilty of that they are not as the big deal, that they, they cheat for their appearances. And Not My Rabbit Hole knows that. Not My Rabbit Hole has picks things like that apart. Now, My Rabbit Hole is interested in finding out what the truth is about stuff. And me, as a person who's behind on My Rabbit Hole, was, one of the reasons why I went into what we called the truth media back then. That's why I went into it, because I thought that, propaganda and media and influence and, what were our own thoughts? What was the truth about something? Who was creating the ultimate narrative? What matrix are we really living in? How is language being manipulated? How are people manipulated people's minds and their consciousness and their belief systems by saying things on YouTube, by writing Substacks, by making memes, affecting people's thoughts when really it may have just been programmed into them, right? There's this movie, I think it's called something Silver Lake, Beyond Silver Lake, or something like that. And it's like this, I've been watching these videos about about what the, what is it really about? And it's about this guy living in LA, living this sort of like a Truman Show kind of, where these characters are like, even his girlfriend is not real, and it's just some sort of idealized version of a romantic character in a rom-com or whatever. The girl next door wasn't even really real, is what my understanding is. And that's fascinating to me, that to think about what is the illusion and what is the reality, and who's creating the illusion. And personally, I believe that it's organized, like the CIA or, alphabet agencies or intelligence. I mean, they go into CIA goes into other countries and creates movements and discord in a country for warfare and political strategy. Fact. And, you don't think that something like this wouldn't be movements that would take place on the internet, that would create belief systems. People would think that they were red-pilled and they were going through a great awakening. And a lot of that has these strings and undertows of people like an Owen Benjamin who went into that as well. Because this is media, guys. This YouTube, Rumble, his X account. I mean, he's able to get people to donate him to get property in his name. He has a book out about slaying wizards, talking about rhetoric. He's talking about what I'm talking about in many ways right now, about how you don't get influenced by other people, the powers that be. But what about him? Who's the speaker here in the equation? I'm not so much interested in, let's say, like some of these people, but I'm more interested in their calling people beaners and the N-word and denying the Holocaust as a collective group, doing those kind of things. Those dynamics and the witnessing of those dynamics and the pointing out of those dynamics, you have to think, well, why? Why are all these people aligned in that thought pattern? And I don't care. That thought pattern for me as a person doesn't jive with me. So when it comes to like, oh, well, we're going to be having conversations and friendly or whatever. I mean, I might end up interviewing. I might be able to be cordial enough to like get information from you for a larger picture, but don't ever think that I will be okay with who you are and what your sensibilities are and what you've done on the internet. There will be no real alliance with me with people like that. In fact, I think that and what they're doing needs to be exposed publicly on a higher level. That's why I talk about them. Not because I give a flying fuck what they think of me, or they think about whether I wear a wig or not, or what my career is, or how successful I am, or what worth. It's not up to them to determine my worthiness as a human being and dictate what my life is and who I am. Because their words just are a reflection on themselves. They're indicative of their character, not mine. So, I feel like I should have another song. Another song, maybe, right? Yeah. We're going to get down to some stuff here. I'm just kind of starting out with, well, you know what? We'll just do the Not My Rabbit Hole theme song. What do you think? I think that. By the way, before I do continue with the rest of Not My Rabbit Hole, we'll let you know that today is the last day to get, to take advantage of the Fenty collection sale. The Fenty, you can get 25% off to 60% off on products. And I've been sharing a few products leading up to it. And by the way, when you do purchase through one of my tagged products at the bottom of my video, I will get a 20% commission. So please do take advantage of that. Give yourself a treat and give a treat to Not My Rabbit Hole. So this one that I tagged was Fenty Perfume Hair and Body Mist, and I have also tagged it on other videos. And it was, $37.10. Well, actually, you can get it for $37.10, so it's got a 30% discount. It was originally $53, so now you can get it for $37. So take advantage of that if you want. And then I've been pushing also. This is also all week. On Not My Rabbit Hole, I've been talking about the Glass Bomb Stacks Layer Lip Luminizer. That's been a consistent product that I've tagged throughout this entire campaign. And I was saying it's $24 today. If you get it today, it's only $16.80. It's vegan. It has skin-loving ingredients. It has luscious shine. It's nourishing. And it's as they say, a universal shade. So, and if these products aren't, what really turns you on, you're like, I don't think so. Anything that you purchase, like go through this, hit that tab, and when you're looking at the site, you find another product that you want to have, that you need, that works for you. Take advantage of the sale, 25% to 60% off. So anyway, just wanted to share that. It's my one Not My Rabbit Hole plug. I am in the affiliate program, so I do make a commission from a sale or purchase that you choose to have. I'm in the YouTube affiliate program. So I'm going to ban Disney rumors. It's weird that they're even here talking about Angela Power Disney, but I'm sure that's where it's coming from. They're saying things about Abraham Christie, that he died. I didn't know that. Must have been very, very recent. But if he has, I'm sorry to hear that. And it's coming from this Angela Power Disney, but Angela Power Disney plays out with Daniel Ryan Columbus from Hoax Wars and stuff. I was going to get to that a little bit today. So you want to stay tuned. I'll be right back. Oh, wait. That's not what I wanted to do. I will be right back.
He ain't no Saint Germain, no crown, no name. He plays the game sharp as a flame. Who's to blame for the stolen fame? A shadow dance in the devil's frame. Go in the rabbit hole, losing control, spinning wild on a stripper pole. Laughing loud, all for the lows, but baby, that's not my rabbit hole. City lights and sirens scream, truth and lies blend like a dream. Wicked smiles, a clever scheme, chasing gold in the neon gleam. Go in the rabbit hole, losing control, spinning wild on the stripper pole. Laughing loud, all for the lows, but baby, that's not my rabbit hole. Fast, can't find the ground. Echoes of chaos all around. You chose this dance, this mad parade, but not every choice gets accolades. Go in the rabbit hole, losing control, spinning wild on the stripper pole. Laughing loud, all for the lows, but baby, that's not my rabbit hole. Spinning wild on the stripper pole. Laughing loud, all for the lows, but baby, that's not my rabbit hole. City lights and sirens scream, truth and lies blend like a dream. Wicked smiles, a clever scheme, chasing gold in the neon gleam. Going down the rabbit hole, losing control, spinning wild on the stripper pole. Laughing loud, all for the lows, but baby, that's not my rabbit hole.
All right, welcome back to Not My Rabbit Hole. It's interesting how we have like some Angela Power Disney-esque trolls, which is really, I haven't been talking about her, even thinking about her for a while. And but here it is, and seems to be sort of interconnected with a lot of this. You can see on Not My Rabbit Hole, I show hi Seren. Now Seren's real. I recognize Seren, but everybody else that's been in here, I really haven't recognized the account. And I think mostly everyone who's been in here so far isn't authentic, except for Seren. That's my initial take on it. But I want to talk about something. I don't have the screenshot. I did take the screenshot. It's going to take me a bit to find it, which I'll make sure that I get back to. But there was something that happened. There was something that happened that I noticed this week on my Facebook page. And there was an account that wasn't friends with me, but they were trying to talk to me. So it was in that alternative like chat box that your DM will do if you are on Meta. And I was looking at the name and I was like, it was Persea. Okay, this is the first name. I'm going to safely say Persea. And the last name, and I kept looking at the name and I go, why is that name so familiar to me? Why is that name so familiar to me? Because it was kind of like, again, out of the blue. Wasn't really dawning on me yet. And who it was my ex-moderator, who had the last name Reed. And it was his daughter. It was his daughter. And it's kind of interesting that these accounts are, coming in and bringing up Angela Power Disney's name. Jeff Reed. It was Jeff Reed. For some reason, I was blanking on Jeff's first name. It was his daughter. It was Jeff Reed's daughter who's my moderator. And he, watched Not My Rabbit Hole a lot. I gave him a wrench. And he was the only person that was my moderator. Just recently I started to give out wrenches, because why am I being so stingy with my wrenches? I should not deny people wrenches, But you choose somebody to be a moderator, you're basically choosing them to have your back in chat. And kind of that they can sense what a troll is or whatever, and either completely eliminate them or time them out. There's some people that come into people's chats and they are part of the troll network and they don't get completely banned. They get timed out on some other people's platforms. I tend to be not as forgiving if it's me making the choice. But I try to say, if I have given you a wrench, I think you should, if it is somebody that is a troll, but like, let's say Liz came in here and was like being really nasty. Maybe Saran would time her out if she was being really obtrusive or argumentative with people, but she wouldn't get completely cut from it, right? In that instance, that's what I'm kind of like looking for. If you've been given a wrench, that's kind of like, what I'm looking for from. I guess I really should maybe put the guidelines down, because I used to make it so that you had to subscribe to my channel in order to talk on it. Like last night, I did pop in over on Liz, Liz Antoinette, because Jesse Davis from Sewertown was talking about some things I found like were really interesting that I actually intend to bring up or have, do commentary on today about that aspect of it. But Angela Para Disney, here's the incident that happened. Here's why I know Adam Camacho was like, oh, I'm cool. He apologized to me and I accepted his apology, and I get that. That's their deal. But for me, Hoax Wars, Daniel Ryan Columbus has never apologized to me. And I really resent what he did and how that is. Angela Power Disney was part of that. On his YouTube channel, and the things and the false accusations that he did say about me. And thank God, because I was saying if I knew his name, I was going to sue him. And now I really can. Because I don't have a problem prosecuting Daniel Ryan Columbus for what he did and what he said about my moderator posthumously after he died, and his daughters, and the exploitation that Daniel Ryan Columbus did to my moderator's daughters. And you know who else participated in that? Miss Denise Matau. No, that's not okay with me at all. It was false. It was defamatory. And I think they should be prosecuted for it, really. They should be held accountable for doing it. And you know what happened? Like, back with my Facebook page recently, somebody pretended to be her, Persea. Because here's what happened. I was doing a stream a couple years ago, even. That's 2 years old. Really, at least. And Jeff was moderating my chat while I was on. It was later at night, but it was summertime, and the girls were allowed to stay up. They just came back from a big trip, and they went to this bee farm or bee festival. And because children, they have their own Facebook accounts. And you guys might say, well, Not My Rabbit Hole. Why is he letting his daughters listen to Not My Rabbit Hole? Terry Joyce is, disgusting. That's your opinion. They were familiar with me. They liked my show, actually. I know that sounds weird. Oh, disgusting. How could they like her? Nobody likes Terry. Nobody likes the wig, right? But what Jeff allows his daughters to watch or see, or whom he allows his children to speak with, like, let's say, I was talking to Jeff and they came on, the FaceTime with us, and hi, Persea, hi, Bella. From a child's point of view, right? Maybe they thought they looked up to their daddy because he was on my show sometimes and he was on YouTube. I mean, look at it from that point of view. Like, maybe that was a big deal for them. They were proud of their father. And they wanted to be on my show just like their daddy. And so I rarely, put out, hey, come join me. And, like, I rarely do a panel show. If usually I have an interview that I've planned. Maybe there might be some impromptu person that wants to come on Not My Rabbit Hole. I'm like, yeah, sure, jump up here. But usually I don't throw it out there like, come talk to me. I want to hear your opinion, because I don't mean to be rude, but I will be. Most of you guys, I don't really give a fuck about your opinions. In fact, you fucking annoy me. How about that? Why don't you put that in your pipe and smoke it? Good morning! It's March 23rd. I feel like that needs a round of applause. Okay? So, recently, right, I see somebody, a profile. I look at it, and here's what the person writes. Meh. Meh. M-E-H. Meh. Which, by the way, a child and Persea wouldn't say something like that. And, I'm going to pull it up. The word origin for meh. 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 Meh is an interjection expressing indifference or apathy with likely roots in Yiddish, meh, where it was used to signify so-and-so, or dismissive shrug, possibly mimicking a bleating goat. It gained mainstream popularity in American English via The Simpsons in the 1990s and was added to the Oxford English Dictionary. It has Yiddish roots. And, I see just this, I don't know, background connection of anti-Semitism in the group that has drama around Owen Benjamin and drama around Thomas Schellenberger. And they're part of the people that are falsely accusing me of child trafficking my moderators because they came onto my show unexpectedly. How disgusting is that? We'll be right back.
Daddy, dog. Yo, check the feed, late night 2007. Fresno where it hit. Hoses, camera caught a sight. Dogs barking some legit. Two figures gliding by. No arms, no head, just legs so long. The walking past. Fresno night crawlers on patrol. So paranormal, like out of an old journal. You know it's paranormal, like your ex or Yoko Ono. They're so paranormal, like out of an old journal. You know it's paranormal, like your ex or Yoko Ono. They're so paranormal. Don't wanna see them on the street. So glad they ain't got feet. Now that's a crazy breed. Let's go down to Fresno and go night crawler hunting. I know it ain't my town, but it sounds like something I seen before I die and make it to the sky and have a story for you to take to your grave. Two figures gliding by, no arms, no head, just legs so long. The walking pants, the Fresno night crawlers on patrol. So paranormal, like out of an old journal. You know it's paranormal, like your ex or Yoko Ono. And they're so paranormal, like out of an old journal. You know it's paranormal, like your ex or Yoko Ono. They're so paranormal.
I remember the day we met. It was a cold, rainy night, fur wet paws on the window's ledge. I let him in, I let him in. I pray for him, he's my miracle cat. Stray human says a stray cat. He's my miracle cat.
So I want to go back to I'm going to play that. I was really thinking about playing that song that came up just up, but then the Miracle Cat song came on. Anyway, Welcome back to Not My Rabbit Hole. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching me real time. And if you like this, what I'm saying, like and subscribe. And if you're a hater, go ahead and share it with your enemies. Because I'm sure that I would guess maybe even like I don't want to say like 50% of the people watching me right now can't stand me. But hey, it's I think it's good to have some people not like you. It would be really weird if everybody liked everything. You have no effect. There's no truth to anything. Because if you're worried about if you believe in something and you say it, then you have to be willing to offend people by what you say or what you joke about. Come on. If you believe in it, if you believe it to be true, if you stand on your words, there's going to be some people that aren't happy. Tough shit. That's America. That's First Amendment. That's what allows them to lie. And that's what allows Daniel Ryan Columbus to allow him to lie about people on his channel and have other people repeat it. But ultimately, though, you can still be sued for that in a court of law. I mean, who suffered from that lie? Does Daniel Ryan Columbus think it's just me? Is it possible that his daughter suffered, or that even like Jeff Reed, who had a heart attack shortly after those accusations came in, and Angelo Paradisi was obtrusively trying to contact his daughters, bypassing the adults? Gross. That's suspicious to me. And you know what? A year later, Daniel Ryan Columbus, on Christmas Eve no less, re-put salt in the wounds because their dad died before Christmas time. And lies and says and humiliates me and them on Christmas Eve. And guess who stopped their stream to go watch it? Nathan Stoltman. Oh, I gotta watch Hoax's Christmas Eve show. Guess who else was there? Thomas Schellenberger. And let's just go back to like Daniel Ryan Columbus's history with All Seeing You and all of this creation of drama and profiting from it and getting paid for it. And then we have Operation Unaliven. Don't you think someone who maybe, because there's pictures of him with a t-shirt on that says having a bad day, why don't you just blank yourself off yourself, basically. So what's behind that? Is that what's behind Daniel Ryan Columbus? Is that his purpose on the internet? Should he get away with it? I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't care who he apologizes to. I don't give a fuck who he tries to get out of a lawsuit with. Trying to save his face. I don't care. There's no apology to me for lying on Christmas Eve. Can I make that any more clear to you? Oh, I'm sorry. Daniel Richard Columbus. Ryan, I'm saying it wrong. So, next topic basically the tampering of the witness thing, because all these other little flying trolls around this, the go-betweens like Blazin and Nasty Troll Media and Thomas Schoenberger and, the Top Feed Cuckoo and Will, and, then you get into these other players and it goes on and on. Fractions of what you would, call the predator catcher community that somehow involves hoax at the crown of it all, in a way. Feuding and pointing fingers and hoax, finding Jesse Davis's daughter's Facebook profile, and even though she was adult, he took her teenage pictures and accused Jesse and Pavana of exploiting their daughter or something like that. Sound familiar? Because, geez, did the same thing to me, too. Why is he doing defamation like that? And why is he associated so strongly with Thomas Schoenberger? This is my truth. Deal with it. I don't have to be any of your friends. That's not what this is about. I don't have to side with anybody. None of you. This is an analysis of the entire thing. I mean, a journalist is supposed to be not supposed to be biased, right? Detached. Although this is gonzo, because stuff has happened to me personally. Accusations that I'm tampering with the witness when I don't even know who the witness is. Blazen's aesthetic. Oh, you're tampering with the witness. Oh, who the fuck is the witness? What court case am I in? 0. There is no lawsuit that I'm involved in. Not now. But we can talk about people who are in, apparently Liz has been mentioned in the Owen Benjamin lawsuit. I don't know how I ended up there. Well, maybe you should sit down and do some self-reflecting, Liz. Stop take some responsibility for what might have happened to you. What'd you do on YouTube? Did you try to contact Owen Benjamin? Did you argue about money? Did you flip-flop and become a Owen Benjamin fangirl? And flip narratives? That's exactly what these types of players do that are part of, let's say a company, something like Shadowbox, or what, All Seeing You used to do. They flip sides. It doesn't matter what side it is. They're just there to create a hum of dissent and targeting on the target. Exhausting them. Hoping that they say something about them. Hoping that they keep the dialogue going. It's like wrestling, right? It's Andy Kaufman. And I really think that you guys actually think that you're really brilliant at it. You compliment each other, how good you are at the LARP. Not even giving a shit how that LARP might affect somebody's life. Thomas Schoenberger sits back and goes, oh, even Marsha Stockton, Cicada 3301 is about privacy, but none of them give a shit about anybody's privacy if they want to shut you up. Ain't that right? Guys. Cicada, as Denise says it. Cicada 3301. The cicada. I didn't know I was going to rant this hard, but I guess, I I had it in me today. So like I get all these you know what? Even Patrick from Nasty Troll Media on the copyright board situation, the bogus copyright strikes to shut people up. That's another little game they do, just like Chris McKinsey Jones did to, Jesse Davis. Oh, you showed my trademark from my blog and that's copyrighted. I can strike you. Yeah, that is one way of doing it. Yeah, there is one way to do it. But it's not so easy. It's not so easy when you're using your artwork instead of your camera on a panel show, and it's fair use with commentary over it. And I did a counter notification, and YouTube gave it to me, sent it to him, and said, you have 10 days to respond. If not, we're going to restore the video. Well, you know what? He did respond. He went to the Copyright Claims Board and claimed a lot of things that weren't true. And now he's having to go back and rewrite it. And by the way, I did pull this up, and he's done this too. He said, if I talk about this, or I made posts about it on my timeline or whatever, he goes, you're tampering with the witness. Look, this isn't even a trial, Patrick. What the Copyright Claims Board is a tribunal where both sides say both sides of their story, and then there's, like a decision. It's not really like a total court hearing. And if any party can opt out at any time that they want, and there would be no repercussions from it. But I'm not opting out because I want that strike off I don't want that strike to come back. I don't think I deserved the strike. It's like what Thomas Schoenberger is doing to Jesse Davis, or, they drain people's resources. They drain you down emotionally. It's taking somebody's money. It's having an opportunity to use that court case and persecute that person and lie about them even further. Take a look at Nasty Troll Media's YouTube community page and see how many AI images that are just really disgusting of me. Gross, grotesque, making my kitchen look like it has dew all over the walls, with the words content thief on it. And yet, he has not proven his side of the story that I stole any of his content yet. And guess who else furthers that? Miss Blazing Scar, who doesn't hardly have anything original on her show. She can't just sit here and talk like me and not show anybody else's content. She even uses copyrighted music when she calls people the N-word. Tampering with the witness. There's no witness necessary on this, Patrick. I mean, it's like their go-to phrase, tampering with the witness. You're tampering with the witness. It's like, it doesn't matter what it is. They just point a finger and accuse somebody of it. It's the stupidest thing. Tampering with the witness. So I'm going to read you what the response, Patrick filed. Okay, I don't want to share this, actually. You know what? I should change my banner here. I'm going to read what the latest update is with the Copyright Claims Board stuff, okay? It says order to amend non-compliant claim. And you can go on the website and see this for yourself, but I'm not going to show it because I'm protecting his identity. Unlike Patrick caring about my private information, publishing my apartment number and saying that he's 25 whatever steps away. That was my apartment number. A creepy threat with my apartment number. That's Patrick. That's what Nasty Troll Media does on his YouTube community page. And then Thomas Schoenberger simultaneously posts the numbers to the street number, my address number, and the street I live on together. That's Mr. I care about your privacy. That's what Cicada 3301 is about. Show. Let me read. The Copyright Claims Board finds that your claim does not comply with the requirements of the Case Act and regulated regulations. The claim cannot move forward unless it is amended. If you wish to proceed with this claim, you must file an amended claim by April 16, 2026. If you do not, the board must dismiss your claim without prejudice, although you may file again in the future before the board or in federal court. If you file an amended claim and it's found compliant, you will be notified and directed to proceed with service. There's no additional filing fee for an amended claim. To make your amended claim compliant, you must resolve the issues identified below. You may also choose to correct or edit or errors or other information in your claim before you file it again. You do not need to provide a legal argument in your claim, just a statement of facts and circumstances. Being specific in your description gives the other party and the board more information about your claim. There is no character limit, so please be as detailed as possible. You are bringing misrepresentation, and big black letters, right? All capitalized. Misrepresentation claim, reliance by online service provider. You are bringing a claim of misrepresentation in connection with a takedown notice or counter notice under 17. Blank gives them the number. That kind of misrepresentation has a very specific meaning under copyright law, which involves false statements made to an online service provider, OSP, which is, I think that would be referral to YouTube, related to a copyright protected work posted online. Your claim must make enough factual allegations to support each element of the claim. The elements of misrepresentation that apply to your claim are: 1, the respondent, me, I'm the respondent, okay. The respondent sent an OSP a counter notice denying the claim of infringement and takedown notice and claiming the online content was removed or disabled due to a mistake or a misidentification. 2, the respondent, that would be me, made a misrepresentation, a false or incorrect statement of fact in the counter notice. 3, the respondent, that would be me, knew the misrepresentation was false or incorrect. 4, the misrepresentation was important to the OSP's decision to repost the content. And 5, you were harmed as a result of the OSP's decision to repost the content. So he's claiming, basically what he's saying here is, when I read the original filing, he's claiming that I reposted the content that was removed off of YouTube for copyright. He said that I reposted it again online. And I haven't. Because the copyright case is about his artwork, not what he said on that stream. And I have re-aired the audio version. It was Blazing Scar stream, a clip of an audio version of what I was really talking about, not his art. That not the thumbnail of his camera in a panel show. That was not the topic of the discussion, and that wasn't what was featured in the entire image. So he's saying, I ignored YouTube and reposted the content, which is not true. And he cannot prove that because it never happened. Didn't it? It never happened, did it, Patrick? Good luck. And that is the type of lying, and that is happening. I heard, that now, in terms of the lawsuit that Pavana was released from, that Thomas tacked on to Lord Dilly's lawsuit. Now he's tacked on Corey Daniel into the argument and was able to get another court date. Michigan's getting close to passing their slap suit lawsuit. So you guys better get on it pronto, because that's not going to work in your favor, is it, Thomas? That's what I think. So, and then it goes on. In your claim, you state that the counter notice at issue was sent on January 8th, 2026, and that the OSP took action of restoring the material in question on that same day. Safe harbor provisions in Section 512 of the Copyright Act protects certain OSPs from paying damages for infringement claims if they restore allegedly infringing material not less than 10 or more than 14 days after receiving a proper counter notice, unless the first received notice of an infringement claim filed against the alleged infringer in court or before the board. So I guess there's a confusion there. Did I put it up or did YouTube put it back up? So they're saying, these YouTube doesn't restore it. YouTube's not going to restore it until there's a determination in this court case or this hearing or the tribunal. It's not really a court case, really. Your allegations and the proximity of the date suggest that the respondent's video had not been restored when you filed this claim on January 21st, 2026, right? Then, less than 10 business days after the January 8th, 2026 counter notice was sent, if no content had been restored in reliance on the counter notice by January 21st, 2026, then the counter notice cannot support this claim. If the OSP, which would be YouTube, if the OSP had restored the allegedly infringing material prior to the filing of your initial claim on January 21st, 2026, your amended claim should include 1, the date that the material was restored, and 2, must state facts about that restoration. If the material was not restored by the OSP, you may want to consider omitting your claim of misrepresentation and proceeding with only your copyright infringement claim. And then it goes on about how to submit an amendment. And if he has questions, he can get guidance. But, if you look at, I posted, I took a screenshot. I posted the first, I blanked out. I blocked out our names, whatever. And I posted the first part of this PDF that I downloaded because, it's happening to me, right? So I'm following it. Oh, hey, Gio. I don't know why you would be asking me if we're good or not. So I'm not sure if this is really you. But, and I don't know what you're referring to. This profile here, I remember when he spurged out because I used his real name. I don't know what you're talking about there. Can you clarify that for me? And why would having a new phone change your address, your profile? It wouldn't happen. So I doubt this is Gio. Matter of fact, if you are Gio, why don't you give me a text on my phone? Because Gio would know my phone number. I'm waiting. But let's play a song and see if Geo texts me. What do you think? Yeah, I think so. This is like dedicated to everybody.
You're caught in a lie, and I know why. Tangled truths won't fly, you can't deny. Think you'll vanish, but have no fear. You're bound, you're found, you're here, my trying to pretend you're just a servant in the end. Caught in a lie, and I know why. You think you'll disappear, but have no fear. You're here to stay, and no one believes you today. Bye-bye, fake, go trying to play the game. Just another snake, but you're all the same. You're trapped in illusions, no more disguise. Those webs of deceit unravel your eyes. Your game is over, no need to hide. Caught in the truth where you'll collide. To escape fate, just another trickster meeting your day. You think you'll vanish, a fleeting charade, but mirrors shatter, exposing the facade. Reality whispers, the truth prevails. Caught in a lie, the illusion fails. Caught in a lie. And I know why. You think you'll disappear, but have no fear. You're here to stay, and no one believes you today. Bye-bye! Fake out!
All right. So I'm back. So Geo hasn't texted me. So sorry, but that's a sock account. That is really like too bad. But thanks for sharing. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for being here and, pretending that you're Geo. Like, what is going on today? All I had was like, if you look at this, the title of this video, it says tampering with the witness. But, I've gotten Angela Power Disney trolls. I've gotten apparently Abraham Christie passed away. Let's see. Did Abraham Christie really pass away? I mean, because he just liked one of my videos recently. Let me be more specific. Did Abraham Christie die? Well, there's somebody from like, I mean, somebody in Missouri, somebody from 1917. You know what? Okay, there's, The Guardian has an article on him. Let's look at the Guardian article. Hi, Aiken. Well, why didn't you text me? Why are you... Okay, well, this is how, like, I gave you a wrench, man. Come with your wrench. So it was Geo. Sorry. I mean, I'm glad you got a new phone. What kind is it? What did you get? Like did you get an upgrade? I'm just curious. So there's this article. He was written up in the Guardian. No, I don't want to add you to my Chrome extension. No. Come on. It might not let me go to it. It might have a paywall on it. Yeah, it's got a paywall. Yeah, I'm not. Anyway, there's a Guardian article. Let me see. Oh, wait. I was able to get rid of it. Okay, yeah. Maybe later. Maybe I'll support them later. I got different subscriptions that take priority. Oh, you're trying to port your phone to your new phone. Okay. I'm looking at like what Gio's saying. All right. So, accused the Hampstead pedophile hoax review absolutely chilling. This unthinkably terrifying story of Satanist pedophiles and trolls so unstoppable they end up in prison is proof that the internet's off switch should be flicked immediately. Accused, the Hampstead pedophile hoax reminds you that the internet is the greatest unregulated experiment ever conducted on humanity and leads you inexorably to the conclusion. Here, let me do a fair use banner. That's what I love about you guys is like when even the trolls like prompt more research on Not My Rabbit Hole. I would never have talked about this today, but this is just, and this is in the Guardian, so this is a mainstream article. Accused, the Hampstead pedophile hoax reminds you that the internet is the great. Okay, so the basic story is an ancient one. Accused is a documentary about a witch hunt, but one enabled in terrifying ways by online connectivity. It begins in 2015 when a video is posted on social media of a 9-year-old girl, Abigail, and her 8-year-old brother, Joseph, claiming that a group of parents at their school were making them and their classmates do sex and adding details that are absolutely chilling to hear come out of children's mouths. They say that this takes place in a big church nearby, and though they don't use the term, what we would understand to be satanic rituals are involved. The police investigate. It is found that the video was taken by the children's mother, Ella Draper, who is involved in a bitter custody battle with the children's father, and who recently learned that there had been concerns raised at the school about her parenting and her new boyfriend, Abraham Christie, while they were on a holiday. Christie is a convicted criminal with links to conspiracy groups obsessed with the existence of child-killing, organ-harvesting Satanists. The police carry out interviews at the school, search the church and school for evidence, and find nothing. The case for them is closed. For the parents and the 4 mothers interviewed here, in particular, the nightmare has just begun. Because the video, of course, goes viral, attracting every kind of poison there is conspiracy theorists grab on to it as proof of outlandish beliefs of all kinds. from baby trafficking by social workers and cannibalistic Satanists being embedded in every layer of British society. Anti-pedophile vigilante groups swarm around the story. People hurl endlessly abuse and death threats, and some become fixated on plans to kidnap the children to save them from their parents. Trolls stoke the fires at every turn. When Draper posts another video in support of her children's claims, the children are removed from her care. There, they withdraw their allegations, and we hear audio tape of Christie's relentless coaching of them, which a judge will later liken to torture. For the conspiracy theorists, of course, this is just a sign that the social workers and the legal establishment are as corrupt as suspected. Things get unthinkably worse when Draper takes on a woman called Sabine McNeil as her legal advisor. McNeil begins a campaign of harassment against the parents that will eventually see her given a precedent-setting 9-year jail sentence. One of her first acts is to post online a full list of the details of everyone supposedly involved in the abuse, including all of the children's real names and the addresses, the sex acts perpetrated against them, and whether or not they liked sex or had to be drugged. To the death threats, abuse, and the kidnap plans are now added emails from pedophiles directly to the parents asking them to meet their children. Protests begin gathering at the school and handing out leaflets around Hampstead. The quartet of mothers, their words brilliantly lip-synced by actors to preserve the last vestiges of privacy, who become most central to the story, are the ones who, despairing of any proper police intervention, their main advice was to stop looking at things only happening online. And you know what? I can relate to this. I'm going to just say right now, I can relate to this because I have called the police about things that have happened in my life. The threats of people meeting me on campus, the false accusations that I've gone through, Denise calling my job, the harassing telephone conversations, the posting of my data. And this is what I get too. They say it's only happening online. That's the same thing that's happening when we talk to the sheriff's department in Harlan, Iowa about David Scherter. Oh, it's just happening online. There's no real threat to you. There's no threat to you. This is out of our jurisdiction. There's nothing we can do about this because there aren't any laws preventing this type of targeted harassment on people who are innocent. I mean, is there still he wasn't. The people that got prosecuted were the people that were doing this. It was the social worker. It wasn't Ricky Dearman. Their main advice was to stop looking at things only happening online, begin investigating the people behind the life-destroying harassment themselves. Like the woman effectively abandoned by the police and legal system in the Netflix documentary about cyber stalking, Can I Tell You a Secret? They painstakingly amass evidence, track down perpetrators. Alice poses as a sympathizer of the cause online and filtrates various groups. Piece together the networks, force the police to reopen the case, and eventually secure McNeil's and another activist's convictions. And that, I believe, was Rupert Quick Quintana from American Freedom Radio that used to be on Vinny Eastwood's show together. Because, I follow this. That's why I have these trolls today for some reason in my chat. And Angela Paradisney was the person that falsely accused me of trafficking my moderator's children along with Hoax Wars. And Denise, she hung around Jedi's chats, and Denise, she said Denise on her show. Let's talk about that. That's what's been happening with me. Same shit, different day, different thing. Oh, the latest was like I was conspiring against her with some lady named Tara McMahon and stalking her all the way over in Ireland. It never ends with Angel Power Disney. Accused is a study in many things: the inadequacy of our police and the dangerous line between the laws we have and the laws we need in this blistering, fast-moving world, the fathomless irrationality of which some humans are capable, what it is hard not to call the simple evil of others, and the courage some find to fight it. It is above all a study and why the truth matters, why facts must be disinterred, stated, and cleaved to. We live in an age when reality is increasingly questioned, and accused reminds us all to ask, who wants this? Who benefits from undermining of the facts, from the destabilization of truth, and above all, where is the internet's off switch? And on that note, I think that is a great time to say farewell. I'll see you next time. Oh, I keep looking for a smooth transition, and now here it is, the smooth transition.
He ain't no Saint Germain, no clown, no name. He plays the game, sharp as a flame. Who's to blame for the stolen fame? A shadow dance in the devil's frame. Go in the rabbit hole, losing control, spinning wild on a stripper pole. Laughing loud, all for the lows, but baby, that's not my rabbit hole. City lights and sirens scream, truth and lies blend like a dream. Wicked smiles, a clever scheme, chasing gold in the neon gleam. Go in the rabbit hole, losing control, spinning wild on the stripper pole. Laughing loud, all for the lows, but baby, that's not my rabbit hole. Fast, can't find the ground. Echoes of chaos all around. You chose this dance, this mad parade, but not every choice gets accolades. Go in the rabbit hole, losing control, spinning wild on the stripper pole. Laughing loud, all for the lows, but baby, that's not my rabbit hole. Spinning wild on the stripper pole. Laughing loud, all for the lows, but baby, that's not my rabbit hole. City lights and sirens scream, truth and lies blend like a dream. Wicked smiles, a clever scheme, chasing gold in the neon gleam. Going down the rabbit hole, losing control, spinning wild on the stripper pole. Laughing loud, all for the lows, but baby, that's not my rabbit hole.